Welcome, Guardian Academy Solvable Problem Considerations 1. Now you'll see these considerations videos, and all we're doing is we're adding and kind of trying to bake these concepts into your lattice work of mental models. So we'll circle back, introduce something and then introduce something new and then tie them together. Okay? It's all part of the core concepts. It gets more advanced as you climb into the Wolfpack tier, Wolfpack Leader tier, Guardian tier is a lot of advanced dialogue. A lot more back and forth with me, the team, partners, guests, stuff like that. Okay. So considerations of the solvable problem in forms. Now, we just went through the solvable problem video. And now, do you remember frequency of exposure? What is the purpose of data? How often should you look at data? It's a question that we kind of left an open loop for. Well, it depends on your time preference. Okay, it depends on your time preference. It depends on the properties of the asset class that you're investing in, or the properties of your income source, business, job, whatever. Okay, that helps determine the frequency of exposure, which we'll talk about in a later video of strategies. But you see now the solvable problem has given us a framework from which to start seeing the world through the appropriate time preference. If your solvable problem is X in 15 years, then it would make sense to have a far less frequent exposure to data, with especially something that has a preponderance of data as a trend, like the S&P or a company that's been around for a long time. Okay? So this is a different time preference. If your solvable problem is in 15 years, it's truly the most important thing to you, and you want it within 15 years, then we should look at things through the time preference of 15 years, which means the day-to-day action and the week-to-week action, even the month-to-month action, is entirely irrelevant. You can only incur downside by exposing yourself to the data. If for some reason your solvable problem is in 9 months, it's probably not an appropriate time frame, but that's what you want, or maybe it is an appropriate time frame for this thing. Then something like stock market, or something like a real estate, or something that has a prolonged 4, 5, 6 year cycles would not be appropriate to be in the first place. Okay, so already if you are investing in real estate and you're trying to make X amount of dollars in 9 months, your strategies are not aligned with the reality of the situation. How do you know? Because the solvable problem tells you the time preference from which you should be viewing your decisions. So you can already see how when we get into the strategy section, we could tie it all together, and you'll be able to kind of discern which strategies make sense, how often should you look at it, when do you make decisions, when do you take risk off the table, when do you add risk, when do you need to work more, when can you work less. It's all solvable. Okay? So your strategies must align with your solvable problem. That means the assets that you choose, the way that you make money, the properties of it must be aligned with the time preference that your solvable problem helped you develop. Okay? Again, we'll layer more on, just tying it all together. Hope it's useful. Live to learn, give to earn. If this is helpful, do the work, experience the process, and then share it with others. Teach it to others, help others, ask others questions, share your 6-word update. We're really trying to just kind of reorient as many people as possible, give them tools. They don't have to adopt our tools, but we're putting it out there so that it can be useful to as many people as possible. And part of the role of climbing the tiers of the Guardian Academy is to start sharing and also being helpful.